All right, you are now tuned in to the Rotated Views podcast. I am your host, Jimmy Lee Velez. I am here with Goose.
What up?
And Gabe.
What up?
That's right, boy or girl. In this episode, the crew talks about their experience as a dad. We cover topics that range from baby names, gender reveals, doctor appointments, pregnant spouses, and much more. We wrap the episode up with quotes from Wilhelm Busch and Josh Billings. All right, if you're new, thank you for joining us. Don't forget to download and subscribe. We drop a new episode every Tuesday morning for your listening pleasure. We kick things off with a definition from dictionary.com, and we defined parent. 1, a father or a mother. 2, an ancestor, precursor, or progenitor. 3, a source, origin, or cause. 4, a protector or guardian. 5, in biology, any organism that produces or generates another. All right, so there you have it, folks, boy or girl. And I'm actually, for some of you who don't know, my wife and I are expecting. We are expecting this June, but as mentioned on our Facebook live feed, it's probably going to be late May, just because my wife is going to go through cesarean section. So with that, we did a gender reveal, and I'm going to kind of walk you guys through on what we did, and how we revealed the gender, who was there, how it was different from the previous one.
Yeah, I know we didn't do no reveal for Ava.
Yeah.
No gender reveal.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's more of a trend now.
Yeah.
Than as opposed to 10 years ago.
Right.
And even when I was talking with my other family, about a date, they made it seem like that you're not supposed to know your own baby's sex, and that the family was supposed to reveal it to you, which I thought that was bizarre. I thought that was the opposite of what it's.
I've seen all kinds of ways. I've seen where the parents themselves didn't know.
Yeah.
I've seen where the mother or the father didn't know, I thought that was very.
And that's what I thought was weird. I was like.
Then I saw where the parents knew and the people they invited didn't know.
Well, that's what I thought. The most of it is like.
Yeah, I mean that's how we did it.
To reveal somebody else. But.
Yeah, that's how we did it. But I mean, yeah, no, there's people who do outright nobody knows. They get the gender in an envelope from the ultrasound tech, and then from there whatever they do. A lot of times people do this cake stuff, or they buy boxes with balloons in it or whatever.
Yeah.
And there was one that I know directly that she did give the envelope to her friend, and her friend was the one who did everything.
Oh, okay.
So, because I think they did the balloons, so her friend knew that she was putting in pink balloons. It was just weird because this friend knew before everyone. I don't know. It's just that stuff's weird to me. As a parent, I don't know. I just want to know before. It takes away. Me and my wife had our own genuine reactions with each other.
Sure.
Yeah.
And it was more of an intimate thing, and that's our style. And then the night of, or the night after, as fast as we can. I know for James, we had our parents over for dinner, and then we revealed to them.
Okay.
And then this past one, we made a cake. Revealing, inside was the color or whatever. We had our moms kind of cut the cake or whatever, so we had them over the same night we found out.
Oh, okay.
But
we kind of did little mini reveals along the way.
Yeah, because that's just our style. I mean, that was just the way we did it the first time, and we wanted to do the same. I don't know. To me, it was just again, we had a more intimate celebration with our moms.
Sure.
And it was just our thing, and then everyone else could find out at the same time or whatever.
What's your thought on not knowing at all?
Until the baby's born?
Yeah.
Yeah, see, I think that's a personality thing. That if that's your thing, I'm not for it or against it. That's just not my thing.
Yeah.
I'm a very I like to be prepared. I like to plan. I mean, buying a bunch of green and yellow things is
the neutral stuff, but
especially
for something that is so much preparation goes into that. You would think you want to.
I mean, it depends. If it was your third child, you already had a boy and already had a girl, and you're pregnant again, you're okay, all right, this will be a surprise. Well, whatever it is, it is.
You have enough.
Yeah, you'll make room for it,
backlog.
no matter what.
Yeah.
There's I don't know. Especially now,
that makes sense.
Not everyone has a big enough house for each child to have their own room. So at that point, most average homes are 3 to 4 bedrooms. So the newborn's gonna go to either side of the
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's true.
Yeah, that's true.
And then when the baby's born, it has a belly button.
It has an Audi.
An Audi, a vehicle?
Yes. Okay, so for us, so the only thing that we're doing different, since we did a reveal, again, kind of in the same manner, and our process was basically the same. Except this time it was a little bit different because we kind of knew even before, because the tech who I guess did it at 8 weeks, basically like just ran right over and you see like the baby's butt and then there you go. You see him like, all right, that was definitely a boy.
Yeah.
And so we're just kind of like, I'm looking at Kel, she's looking at me, and the girl even said it. She's like, well, she's like, I wouldn't go out and start telling people, but I would be really shocked if that's not a boy. And we're
unofficial
staring
confirmation.
At yeah, we're like, she's like, I would say 95%.
Yeah,
you're having a boy. You know, I wouldn't go telling anybody, blah blah blah. So we already had like this inkling already that we were having another boy, which is literally what we wanted. So it was like, it's even better. It made it even better. So then when we go to second time, it's like, there it is, boom, boom. So it was, the first time was a little bit more because James saw it at the first time. The second time at the ultrasound, James fell asleep when they gave us the official, you're having a boy, which was hilarious. Yeah, so he knew but didn't know. Kind of one of those things was like, you knew based off the first time. But that wasn't, we weren't even saying anything.
Oh, anymore. Yeah. You weren't making a deal
so
with that.
He was like,
so that's why he was confident this whole time. We're like,
mad
what if you have a sister? I'm not having a sister. I'm having a brother. He would go bananas.
Yeah. He was
like confident as anything.
Shape. Yep.
Oh, I didn't.
So he was super confident. So the first time he saw, but like we weren't saying anything because the girl told us not to say anything because it's like, that's way too early to be telling people.
Yeah.
So then fast forward, and then when we saw, when we went for the official reveal from the ultrasound, James fell asleep. Anyway, so then when we had here this time, it was different. So our first gender reveal, we had friends and family over. It was super basic. We kind of just had like this poster board that was wrapped up, and it said boy or girl on it, and then I think we just unwrapped it, and obviously it was a boy. And again, it was a very intimate setting, but it was friends and family. And like I said, we had told our parents previously, so they knew. And then obviously me and Kel knew. And then this time around, we kind of switched it up. We had, basically, if you could think of like an Easter egg from like Easter egg hunting or whatever, like egg hunting.
Yeah.
It's like this plastic egg, but like oversized. And it's a big brown plastic egg. And it had like the football stitching, so it was supposed to resemble a football. And we ordered it like off Amazon or something, and then it comes with like a pink powder and a blue powder, literally in a Ziploc bag.
Oh, okay.
And you pour whatever color it's gonna be. It'd been funny if I kicked it and it was like purple.
Just don't both of them.
Yeah.
Twins.
Yeah. And so we obviously put the blue in there, and then we set it up on a little tee. It was super delicate because I'm like, dude, what if I trip and fall and literally drop this in front of everybody? I imagined that all day. Like that whole day, I'm like,
and
dude.
it was snowing outside, right? So the ground was perfectly white.
Yep.
Definitely.
Oh yeah, you couldn't slip up one bit.
Yeah.
Dude, I poured that in literally like an hour before people came.
Yeah.
Like I forgot about the football because I was like cleaning up and setting up, and that was literally like one of the last things I did. I just so happened to walk into my office because I was straightening things out. I looked down, I'm like, crap, the football. So I grabbed the football, like run out, put the blue powder in it. Then I'm like running around back because I didn't want to leave any dustings anywhere.
Oh, yeah.
Then it created this little static onto like the plastic football. So you saw like the blue powders because you got stuck. Like I'm like, no. So I'm sitting there wiping it down. My hands are literally blue. I'm like, dude. So finally I cleaned it off enough. I put it in my office, and then I'm telling people to put their coats in the office when they came over. Not even thinking. I had this ball on the floor. I'm like, somebody's clumsy's gonna come over and freaking knock that thing.
Yeah.
There's so much things that could go wrong. I'm like, I don't even know why I'm this worked up. I don't know. It's just like so much planning and whatever. You just get like, for that matter, it was a waste. For that matter, just have people over and just, hey, it's a boy, you know? So anyway, long story short, we set up like cones, like if they're, you know, like the, you know, the field goal post or whatever. And then we put the football on the tee and we had James kick it. The funny part was James, when we practiced kicking all the time, not kicking a plastic football. We literally practiced kicking a football off a tee, just, you know, just for the heck of it or whatever. So he knows exactly what to do. And my one thing that I'm always getting on him about, mind you, he's only 4, so it's not that serious. But I always tell him, like, James, you're backing up. I don't know why. He just keeps backing up. He thinks the further, which makes sense, you know, in a 4-year-old's head, like almost like momentum, he's thinking. Yeah. So the further I go back, the faster I can come towards the ball, the farther it's going to go when I kick it. Basic thinking. Makes sense. But I'm telling him, I kept, you know, I'm like, James, you know, it's technique. But obviously, I'm talking to a 3-year-old, so I just let him go.
Yeah.
But of course, he does it while, and it's more of like being antsy and excited. Yeah. Like he can't wait to see how far he's about to kick this thing. So when we were setting everything up, everyone's like cheering him on. So he's like has like that. I could see it like in his eyes and in his hands. He's kind of like starts like doing this thing. Yeah. And then he was like stepping back and he can't wait to do it. So he backed up way too far. So by the time, so he's running. Mind you, it's snow. So it's like 3 or 4 inches of snow in our backyard. And he says, you see the snow kick up. Man, he lost his balance and literally came up short about a foot in front of the tee and a foot in front of the ball. Literally took a header. And of course, everybody's there. So everybody's laughing because he fell in snow. So it wasn't like it hurt him.
Yeah, exactly.
So it was literally just, he did say it was cold. It's cold. So of course, obviously he got him quickly embarrassed or whatever. So I ran, picked him up, and we basically grabbed his hand. You know, Kel had his left hand, I had his right hand. We walked him up, and then he did like the little kick, and then the blue powder came out. It kind of like rolled. It went through the post though. Yeah. It was or just leading right into it, and you saw it was kind of cool that it was snowing because the blue powder really showed. Oh yeah, like on the floor. And then I walked up and kicked it, and
that was actually perfect. Was the snow being?
I was thinking even afterwards. I'm like, I'm not sure how good of an effect that would have been with the green grass. Like if it was pink, it would have been awesome. Absolutely. On the green grass, but I'm like green grass, and then this is blue. It literally just happened to snow like the day before or whatever, 2 days before that. And it looked freaking perfect.
Yeah, absolutely.
So anyway, so you guys were there. What were your thoughts on the whole thing? Actually, no, Goose wasn't there. Goose was working and we're like holding off. But the problem was it was 4 something in the afternoon. You're talking January. Yeah. So it gets dark early as heck. And we had to do this during the day. So people were like, oh, other people who were here had like dinner reservations and stuff. I'm like, oh crap. We told people to come over at 3.
Yeah. And so you only have literally like a 2-hour window.
Yeah. You have for between 3 and 5 and it's like 4:30. I'm like, oh gosh, we got to go for it. So then that was that thing. So then Goose, everybody was like videotaping, of course, and all this other stuff. So everyone goes inside because it's freezing outside. Oh, yeah,
exactly. It was like, 10 degrees that day? Yeah. That was the coldest day of the week, too.
Yeah, for sure. And so everyone goes inside or whatever, and then I like made sure everything was good, James good. I ran back outside, grabbed my phone, I called my brother. I'm like, Goose... He's like, yeah, we're having a boy. Because I didn't want him seeing it like on social media before.
I was on my way here too, and I thought he was calling me like, we need this or I thought he needed something, whatever. But so I pick up, not even. Oh yeah, we're having a boy. I'm like, thanks.
He's like, nah,
that's awesome. I know it though. I know it.
Yeah.
I said it the whole time.
Yeah.
It's a boy.
Because it was something that's what like I was like. It seems like Heck's having other girls and like you're gonna have all the boys or something.
Well, I was just genuinely think in just like the basic like odds, right? It's clearly it's 50-50, well, sure. Right? There in my mind, I'm like, there's no way it could be another girl. I mean, obviously anything can happen, but I'm just saying like just speaking out of statistically. Odds. Yeah, statistically, I'm like, dude, there's 5 girls. Yeah. Literally 1 boy. I'm like, the next one has to be a boy. I mean, I'm just saying just out of odds, not out of any scientific thing that I studied. I'm just saying me in my mind, I was very confident just in that alone. And me and my wife talked or whatever, and she's been saving all James stuff. She's had this gut feeling like she's like, we're having a boy.
That's
like,
awesome.
We're having another boy. And it was just, I don't know. And when it happened, it just felt right. Like I just, like deep down, I don't know. I had this very comforting feeling that that's what we're having. I don't know. And to me, just at a most, again, I'm going to repeat it, out of the most basic, thought process, the odds is just like, there's no way. And if there is, I mean, that's like miracle work. Yeah. I mean, holy smokes. That's like, it's insane. But I'm very excited for James as, being an older brother. I think he's going to be an awesome older brother. Because I feel like he's past that point of, there's like that weird jealousy thing. Yeah. Like Heck never had that with me. Me and Heck are 4 years apart.
Like he's not the baby anymore.
Yeah, like I never sensed that from Heck. My mom never said that, oh, Heck was jealous when you came around. Like I never heard any.
You're old enough to understand.
Yeah, you're old enough to understand. You're like, actually, I really don't care. I want to be a big boy now anyway. Yeah. Like at 4.5, 5 years old, you want to be older. Sure. You don't want to be a baby anymore. Yeah. And then knowing that there's a baby, you're like, well, I can help. This is me proving that I am a big boy. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? So I think he's at that stage. I mean, my niece is 2, my brother-in-law's daughter, and they're only 2 years apart, and you could see him like already like him helping out with her, and then him like teaching her what he thinks he's teaching her. Yeah, sure. Things or whatever, but he's a smart kid, so I think he'll pick up pretty fast. I'm sure there's going to be your initial like, well, why is all the attention, of course, fleeting? But I hope, we talk about it all the time that we don't want to create that environment where there's like, all the attention is taken away from James. Clearly, that's not possible, especially with his personality.
Well, sure. But then that will cause like that will bring up the jealousy, and stuff, whatever.
Oh yeah, for sure. But going back to the gender reveals where no one knows, this is another reason why I'm not for like not knowing. I don't know what my reaction would be in front of people. Sure. So that's why I like to have like that intimate thing. You also like, I've seen people like, they almost kind of look foolish with their response. Like I've seen dudes like literally, oh, it's a girl or whatever. Or I saw one that was like, it's a boy, and the wife, she literally started crying, like out of being angry. And then I seen like dudes like have just blank faces. I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, what is so fun about this? Yeah. Like, you guys look like knuckleheads.
Yeah, exactly. Because, I mean, if you have that such extreme reaction, it's like you don't want that like.
You have to know. Everywhere. If you're having a kid, you're old enough to know how you would react to a surprise. Sure. You know what I'm saying? Like you're old enough to know, even if you're younger. You're still old enough to know that, like, do you like surprises? Yes or no?
Absolutely. As an adult, you should prep yourself for either or, for like the best or the worst, or it in your mind.
Exactly. Yeah. Like, because you have 2 choices, not like you have 10 choices and you're like, oh, I'm hoping for one thing.
That's what I'm saying. Like, so, like, I never forget. Like, one just sticks out in my head, and his shoulders dropped. He turns beet red and like he like throws his hands up and he literally walks away. I'm like. You know how much, like, you're in front of, like, friends and family, like, and your child's going to see that.
Yeah, exactly.
Everyone's videotaping nowadays, right? Like, everyone's capturing everything. And that is, wow, so exciting. Yeah. What an exciting moment that was basically ruined.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So, anyway, I'm not saying that I would have reacted like that. I'm just not crazy about surprise. I don't like surprises. So I already know that's my personality. Yeah. So I do stuff to work in whatever I think is appropriate. Then for me, it's like I don't want to be surprised in front of everybody.
Because stuff like that, even if it's not your genuine, like that's supposed to be your reaction, but like the exact, like you said, like the surprise of it maybe alters like your reaction to it. If that makes any sense.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and then people really get their hopes up for something, and then
even if you're not necessarily like upset about it, but it comes off that way.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, we've seen some interesting ones. We've seen the one where it's like the egg roulette, basically. So you get like a dozen eggs and you dye them blue and red or whatever, blue and pink. And one of them isn't. They're all hard boiled except for one, and the one that isn't hard boiled, whatever color that it isn't, is what, the gender of the
yeah,
baby.
yeah.
So the husband and wife or whatever, the spouse and the significant other kind of like pick an egg, any one, and then you get it, and then they smash it up against your forehead.
Oh, okay.
So then boom, you see hard boiled, and then boom, you saw like the yolk fly everywhere on the girl's forehead, and they were having a girl. It was really funny. Just because they literally went down to the last one.
Oh, well, okay.
And it was the last one.
Huh. See, and there's stuff like that. You can do fun things with, like...
Yeah. It didn't even matter because that was just funny.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
So you couldn't even have, like, a bad reaction, because even if it was, like, whatever you, per se, wanted, which is still kind of weird to me, but just watching someone get an egg smashed over their head and yolks everywhere is just funny.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So that was like a very light, kind of friendly, funny one.
Sure.
They had friends and family over. They seemed excited too. So, the thing that we did again that was different to kind of preserve, again the genuineness of, because I feel like we live in an era where there's borderline basically no privacy.
Sure.
And there's no shared moments, and that also partakes into the thought process of me and Kel finding out together with James sitting on our lap and us sharing that. Like, you can't take that away from us. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Whereas, just like everything else, it's shared with the world. We found out when the world found out. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, I don't know. You got to go back to, like, some stuff to me have to be like old school.
Yeah.
Like, just bringing it back to the real, having a real moment. Not a show-off moment in front of everybody. And, like, I don't know. That's me. Obviously, that's me, because obviously that's how I did it.
But that's you can have it both ways. You have somewhere you have your intimate, like you said, you go to your parents to themselves and tell them.
Yeah.
But then you have something like this where it is for everybody else.
Exactly.
So you kind of do both intimate and public at the same time.
Yeah, exactly. And I was still excited for like I said, like our siblings. I'm still excited for them to find out. You know what I mean? Because even our cousins and our friends and everyone's like, "Oh, yeah." So it's still exciting for us.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, I just like watching everyone's reaction. I get a kick out of it. The thing that we're doing different is that we're withholding the name, like what we're naming our son. So that's kind of like another thing that we're kind of. It's like a switch. It's something different because, again, as soon as we found out it was a boy, we're like, "Oh, James, we're having James Benefiles." Like, we just knew right off the bat. Like, we knew what we're naming him. Like, we just knew.
Peter.
But what we found out when through that was people. I guess I don't know if they wanted to name our kid or like what it was, but people had a very weird. I don't know, like it wasn't even a reaction. They liked everyone. I don't think I've heard one person not like our name, which is, everyone has an opinion, of course, and a lot of people voice them. And again, this is the era that we live in, but they're very just open or just very like nonchalant about saying what we should name our kid. Okay. And I always found that to be very strange. Like, why? Like, I don't like. I would never walk up to somebody and tell them like what they should name. It would never cross my mind. I had names that I liked, or if they asked me,
sure,
what do you think between Jimmy and Jeremy? You know what I mean? Like something like that. Like,
if you already had choices and you say, "Oh, what do you?" think?
And then I'm voicing my opinion. But literally, when we had James, they're like, you should name him Blake. That's an example. I'm not saying someone really said that, but I'm like literally, and we're dead serious. I'll be so mad if you don't name him Mike. I'm like, what? Yeah. Oh, I already know what you're naming him. You're naming him after your dad's. Yeah, that's what I would have did. Yo, back in the 80s, and they're just like, people were very strange with that stuff. Yeah. I don't know why. That was my experience. Huh. I don't know if it's because I'm.
Was that with James too?
That was solely with James.
Oh, okay.
That was just with James. That's why we're withholding the name now. Like, I don't know. You never know.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
We haven't, or I say, we haven't decided yet, or we kind of know, but we're just kind of like, that's our little, surprise for, when the baby's born. We're just, that's
because I guess once you put it out there, then everybody can, then it's quote unquote everybody's right to have an opinion on it. Yeah, or they give the baby like a weird nickname. Yeah. I'm like, no, I'm not. That's not. No, I don't know. It's like I said, it was very strange thing that I never experienced before. It was our first time. Sure. So like, again, going off that learning experience for us. That's what it was. Because once he's here and he has the name, you can't.
There's nothing you
can't criticize it then.
Right, exactly. And again, that's that's just our way of doing things. As not that it's right, not that it's wrong. It's just
no, absolutely,
just our.
But yeah,
that's our way. Still, also still having fun with it.
Absolutely,
because people like kill it. I feel like, and if after you have like the first one or the second one or the third one, I'm sorry, like after the first one, you have a child or something after that. It's like you know the process already, kind of thing. Sure. So then it's just like, yeah, we're having another kid. So in my mind, I'm like, well, how can we have fun with this now?
So now you have a name guessing party.
Yeah, so now we have a name guessing party. Now we're kicking footballs everywhere. Oh
gosh.
We're legit.
There's like 20 names inside of a football.
Yeah, and there's 20 names inside of football. And then there's a balloon, and there's a parachute, and there's a guy flying over our house with an airplane.
Just pin the tail on the name.
Fireworks show.
A fireworks show.
You got skywriting.
Oh man, it's too funny. No. There's no. That's like on the actual birthday. Everyone will find out. It is what it is. But we're super excited, and who knows? We might get worse reaction that way. I don't know. Like again, this is our first time doing it this way too, and maybe we'll have a third kid and we'll work it out at something different.
You won't find out the baby's name till they're 5 years old.
Yeah, I want 3 kids, so we'll see. I see us. It's kind of weird saying it because we only have one child right now, but. God willing, everything goes fine with the pregnancy as it is right now. We have our second son. I don't know, a year, 2 years, 3 years after that. Again, same process. I would like. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't.
Sure.
But I think that's going to be different again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just as the way we name our children different names, I feel like every experience should be different, and you should embrace it differently. Don't embrace it the same. It's like you have parenting conversations with people like, oh, wait till they're 2. Just wait till every kid's different.
Exactly.
James is hitting like his terrible 4s or 3s or whatever. They called it terrible 2s.
Terrible.
And his 3s was like, that's when he like basically rebelled against everything. And a lot of times they call it terrible 2s. That's when they do that. He did it later on. So it's like, everything you were telling me before didn't happen for my child. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So yeah, people are definitely different when it comes to, parenting. Have you guys ever seen a reaction video or a reveal that was like different or something?
Yeah, just on social media, you see it all the time.
Yeah.
Like the one, it was, I don't know, the couple had like, it was like a piñata kind of thing, and they yanked the strings at the bottom of the piñata, and whatever, I think it was like blue streamers and like blue stuff came out the bottom, and you hear the mom go, "It's a boy," and just like had this blank face. Yeah. And then, like, you look at the dad, and he was like kind of like pumped up about it. Yeah. So it's just weird. Yeah. I don't know. Like you said, it is strange when you reveal it to the world at the same time as everyone, like.
Yeah. You're finding it yourself as a parent.
Yeah. So it is kind of weird.
Yeah.
As opposed to like already knowing, soaking it in, and then giving the reaction or seeing the reaction of everyone else. And you already are over it. Whether you having a boy and you really wanted a girl, like you're over the fact. So then when it really comes time to show the family, you're showing somewhat of excitement already.
Yeah.
And you're enjoying everyone else's confused faces.
Exactly. Right, exactly. And it's that preparation to like emotionally hold it together, emotionally figure it out before, it was within the week. It was like 4 or 5 days later that everyone else found out too. So it wasn't like, let's wait 5 weeks. I think the first time we waited like a week and a half, and that was like killing us. That was killing us. This one, the way it landed.
It was kind of perfect, but.
Yeah, like
plus, you don't like really talk to everyone within a week's time. Within 2-3 weeks, you eventually talk to everyone, but you can like keep it away for like a week's time. Right.
Yeah. So we found that like it was literally this January 2nd, and we had people over January 5th.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So it was like it was really fun, man. Like it was official. Like we had so much fun with it. So what about Goose? This is more, you being a dad, being around a pregnant significant other. Were things different? Were things the same? like food wise, around the house, prepping, what people call nesting, getting things in order. How was it like when you guys, you guys had Ava?
Yeah, no, it was. You try to keep everything the same, but eventually, like, things just venture off, and their taste buds start to change, and then they start getting like little like snack habits or whatever you want to call it.
Cravings.
Yeah. They like peanut butter and like
hot dogs.
Yeah, or pickles and stuff, like dill pickles only.
Yeah.
Or vanilla ice cream, but it had to be a certain kind of ice cream, like vanilla ice cream, stuff like that. And then obviously as you see like the belly bump kind of grow more and more, you see like the physical change. There is like some like emotional changes too.
Yeah.
Little attitude here and there, getting frustrated because they don't fit in their clothes, or
like
little things like that.
Sure.
Just I don't know. I guess that's like basic mother stuff, but that's really what it was. Just like the basic stuff.
Yeah, for us, I don't like the same thing. It wasn't that much change. I think it was more of like emotionally dealing with it, or handling it, I should say, not dealing with it, handling it, and the same thing. Kind of like it was funny seeing Kel's belly grow, and then obviously the whole clothes thing, because there's so much going on in your head, I'm sure, as a mother, and then I can only speak as a father or an expecting father, like all the crazy thoughts that are going on in my head, let alone someone who's actually carrying another person inside them. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, that was like my one thing. Like, obviously you grow up, you take health classes, and you're taught like the basic stuff and how the baby develops and stuff. Mm-hmm. But like walking around seeing like this significant other that's pregnant holding your seed, and you're watching it, like the belly grow, and you're just like, I couldn't grasp it. I'm like, that little person in there is like me, like half of me, a piece of me, and it's there, and you're staring at it. Like, it just like that was like intriguing to me. It was like, dude, I was so infatuated with like just wanted to hear like the heartbeat and like just hear movement or feel the movement. I was just like every second. I don't know. It was like it just amazed me like how first of all, it sounds cheesy, but how like the human body works.
Right.
And then to have like this whole new being like being created, and it's like, I don't know. You're watching it, like you're seeing the development through her.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's just. I don't know. It just blows my mind. It's just that's all. Like, I would sit back and like, what in the world? Like, that's crazy. And you get as the time goes, then you get more anxious on actually seeing the baby being born and stuff like that.
Yeah,
but,
you just want to meet them.
Yeah.
It's the whole. There's so much buildup. Like, perfect example, we did like the baby reveal, and now naturally me and Kel are quoting what they call nesting. We're getting all of our like stuff in order and thinking 6 months down the road, what's life going to look like? What do we need to do in preparation for that? How we're situating the house, how we're situating our finances, everything. Like, again, because it's a total different life. It's a new life, and it's one that we're excited about, but it's still like at some level there's still the unknown. You know what I mean? On a lot of levels. Well, because then it's like, we passed this state, and now like with James, it's easy. Like, we passed the stage of even bringing extra stuff with us. You know what I mean? Like, James is like, he goes to the bathroom, he's potty trained, he does everything by himself. We'll literally get one of those drawstring gym bags. You know, those little drawstring bags, whatever. That's all we bring along with us. Extra,
it's way more minimal than it used to be.
And extra undershirt, couple socks, a fruit snack, a juice, and like 2 monster trucks, and we're rolling. Like, it's so easy compared to before. We're bringing pack and plays and extra chairs, because the baby obviously can't sit in a regular chair. So if I go over my mom's house to eat dinner, we have to bring a chair for the baby. I mean, it is just like all this stuff. And I don't know if it's just the era that we live in. I just don't know how. Like, I think about it all the time. Like, how in the world did mommy do it with 3 kids? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So now it's totally different. Yes, James is out of diapers. Yes, but now here we go. We're bringing diapers back into the realm.
Yeah.
We're bringing all this stuff back into, two car seats. And you know what I mean? So we don't know. The only thing that we can do is prepare as best as we can.
Sure.
Otherwise, we're not. I don't know. People are so funny. Oh, you're in for a rude awakening. I'm like, I don't understand why do you put your stuff on me?
Or
I'm not saying that's easy, but I'm also not saying where's here's my thing. If you're gonna critique me when something negative's happening, then credit me when something good's happening.
Sure. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And if you're the person who gave me props when good stuff was happening, I don't care if you say anything when I'm down in the gutter.
Yeah.
Because you went the other extreme too. But if you never said anything when I was up, but then you're gonna kick me when I'm down,
yeah.
That's who's wrong. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I'm just not for all that.
And it seems like when talks of babies, always it goes down the negative road, your whole life's gonna be a disaster type of stuff.
Yes, did our life change? Absolutely, but it's just different. It's not and for me, it got better. If anything. Sure. It's just it's a lot of different stuff, but I don't know if you're ready for it. We were ready for it.
Yeah.
We planned for James. We planned for this baby boy. Yeah, it's our experience. It's how we deal with it. How we deal with it is how we deal with it, right? I mean, and obviously we don't know everything, and when we seek help, then we seek help. But or we ask questions and stuff like that, like, how did you do that? Of course, that's natural.
Sure, absolutely.
But I don't know. I just don't I don't know. My whole thing is just I don't put my garbage on you. Absolutely. Don't put your garbage on me. So, did you have a favorite part about the pregnancy stage?
Well, when it came time to after we found out what we were having, actually doing the baby's room. Whatever you call it, nursery, picking out the stuff, picking out furniture, picking out the color, the color. We're having a girl, so we knew what we were having. But I didn't want to have I didn't want to have all pink.
Yeah.
So we did a softer pastel
pastel
yellow, yeah.
Yeah.
And like a soft green, like a minty green. So we stayed on the girly color, but it could have went both ways, but everything else was on had purples, 2s.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But I didn't want to see pink. I didn't want to see hot pink. I think that just now she got older, it's fine. But as a baby girl, I just didn't want to see straight pink. 'Cause that's tradition. That's everyone has everyone paints their child's room pink. Everything's pink.
Yeah.
So but yeah, doing the decor, doing all this stuff, it was that was cool. That was fun.
Yeah.
Doing all that stuff. Then finally when the baby was born, to bring her into her space, even the baby, she has no clue.
Yeah.
But another thing that was cool at the time, we had 2 dogs, so they were our babies. You know what I mean? At the time, they just slept in bed with us. So when Ava was born, I know the very first blanket that she was wrapped in for probably 12 hours. I grabbed it and I brought it home. And I gave it to the dogs. I not gave it to them and put it in their cage, but gave it to them so they can smell it.
Yeah.
Let them lay with it. I had it on the couch, and they were and then I brought it with me.
Yeah.
And then when I was in the bed, I laid it on the bed with me. And then I think she was there for 2-3 days. So I think I brought 2 of them at that time.
Yeah.
So when she came, they were familiar with the scent. This is it right here. So I remember just kind of reading things like that and trying to make it see it work, and it did. It was pretty cool. There was
awesome.
your pets, which were your babies, aren't jealous of the actual baby coming into the house.
Right.
Or you don't want them doing any harm, because they're not going to get as much attention. But yeah, that was another cool thing, the introduction of just having, and then having it was 2 people in the house, and then there was 3, and it became damn, this is a family.
Yeah.
This is legit. It is a family.
Yeah.
So it's going from one extreme to the next.
Yeah.
A house of 2 people just working, grinding it out to now we have a family.
Right.
And everything's on. Yeah, and you have to work together. Someone wakes up in the middle of the night and while the other one sleeps, and at first I remember we were writing everything down. I woke up 2 o'clock in the morning, changed the diaper and fed her, boom. and went to bed, and then you wake up and you see, like, just try to keep it all organized, but actually seeing, like, a family be built, like, created.
Right.
As she was born and she came home.
Yeah.
That was, like, another cool thing. Then, I'll never forget, I'm going on, but, like, bringing her home from the hospital, they're like, okay, yeah, here, they strapped her in the back car seat, and I'm driving, I'm like, holy smoke, she's my responsibility, because, like, 3-4 days, they're doing everything for you at the hospital.
Yeah.
Now, all of a sudden, it's like, I'm driving, I look in the rearview mirror, I'm like, yo, this child depended on me. What in the world?
Yeah.
But, yeah, and I remember just driving home, you're, like, overprotective, you're going the speed limit, and then you're, like, it's crazy. Now she's 10 years old, we're ripping around with the top down, and hair blowing, not giving two craps. But, yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, like, we were so excited to come home. Our thing didn't work out as well as we wanted to. James had what they call a gray spell, so he would, like, lose his breath while crying but couldn't catch his breath back, so he would, like, literally, like, turn gray. It was more blue, but anyway, he'll eventually catch his breath or whatever. But so he had to stay in the hospital for, like, an extra week, so it was like it kind of took away from, like, dude, we were, like, pumped, obviously, so we were super stoked. We were excited to have, he went through he passed everything with flying colors. I mean, healthy as they come. And then you have this, you're like, no. So I remember just, like, when we did bring him, like, me and Kel came one night. She had to get, like, sleep. It was, like, really bad. So we came one night, literally sat for, like, 4 hours, and then went back to the hospital. We had to because she was nursing. So the baby couldn't take anything else but her breast milk. So, man, I came home one night. We didn't have, like, it's not a hotel.
Yeah.
Like, there's nowhere for you to stay because you have, like, I think it's 5 days to stay at the hospital. James was there for, like, I think 10 or something.
Oh, wow, okay.
So they kick you out basically, and you don't have anywhere. So James was, like, in the NICU, and there's nowhere for us to go. So we're in a waiting room. Like, we stayed, like, 2 nights in a waiting. You're not supposed to. Like, we told them that we're leaving. We stayed there. Like, your back's all bent up.
But you're sitting in, like, the chairs that don't have.
Yeah, like, he's literally being surveillance 24 hours. There was nothing we can do. And, we were saying, like, oh, I'm not leaving my child here. I'm not dude, like, if that stuff, like, it works on you, mentally, emotionally, everything. But the only sad thing I think for me is like, and I don't know if it was sad or it was just like a normal reality that life isn't going to pan out as you thought it would be, was when we came in, and I think my brother Hector and his daughter Bella, they set up when we were initially supposed to come home, like, a sign with, like, balloons or whatever, and the balloons were deflated and they're just, like, flop, like, the wind. It was just like it was like snowing, I think, at the time. It was like January, and it was just, like, real nasty out. And you just saw, like, these flat balloons just, like, flapping around. It was like, and we didn't have the baby with us. And that's what we came home to. It was just like, oh, God.
Kind of put a damper on the
situation. Yeah, it was just like, whatever.
An layer.
So then they had us, James had to have a Holter monitor on for 30 days. So this whole vision that you had, it didn't pan out. I hear your kids, like, passing out once a day. You're like, oh, my God, dude, this is a disaster. But then we got past that stage, and the Holter monitor was gone, and they still there was nothing. Like, kid was still healthy as they come. It was just he wasn't catching his breath, and obviously his lungs developed or whatever. But that was, like, the one that was, like, my least favorite part. And that was more because, like, you don't want to see your kid like that anyway. But my favorite part was, like, when Kel was, like, always hungry, because I'm always hungry. So that was, like, the best part about the pregnancy. One of the best parts about pregnancy. I'm like, oh, you want to get something? Yeah, let's go. It was like, I have a partner. You know what I mean? That was fun. So I guess to kind of, switch it a little bit, did having a boy or a girl, obviously for Goose would be having a girl, turn out the way you thought it would?
In the very beginning, I guess, yeah. Like, I honestly didn't care what I was having. I honestly, did want a boy, but when I said I was having, they said I was having a girl, I was, like, cool with it. And I've talked to people. They were like, I was in the barbershop. And they're like, when especially when you have a girl, like a daughter, it's like having like a new girlfriend. Like that love, you fall in love with them all over, and it's a girl you're always gonna have by your side.
Yeah.
So and honestly, like Ava's 10 years old, and that's true. Like me and her have like this amazing relationship. It's like we have the father-daughter relationship, but also like a dope friendship too. Like in a way, she's only 10. There's not like she tells me her secrets or whatever. Yeah. But like we can goof around and we have like so much fun. Yeah. And there's like I don't know. There's things that she does that if I were to have a boy, she's interested in the same things that like most kids would be interested, and boys that like you know what I mean. Like so, she's very diverse. She's not like she is girly, but she's not like. Not too girly. She still plays sports and she's pretty decent at it. And like she, you know what I mean. It's not like she's not like a crybaby or doesn't give up on things and whatever. So she's pretty like a strong-hearted kid. Yeah. So like it kind of was something. I don't know. It's she's more than what I expected. You know. What I mean?
For sure.
So that's like we grew up. We didn't have no girls. We had girl cousins, but we didn't have to deal with them on a daily. So I didn't know what to. You know what I mean? I didn't even know what to expect, actually, so...
Right. Yeah, I think literally the same thing. Obviously, James is only 4, but you have... I feel like you have these expectations. I don't know. They're just compiled throughout your life, whether you see it from, people around you or a book that you read or something that you saw on television or on a video of what life should be. Yeah. Because we read books and stuff like what to expect when having a boy and all this other stuff, and like so we had levels of expectations, of course, but there's nothing there would be no book ever that could describe what it actually is like. Even if someone who had that child is writing it, it's so unique to each person. That it doesn't matter, that it's a new different experience for every single person. And that is the joy of having your own children, the joy of having a child, I should say. That it's so unique. It doesn't matter how many books that were written, doesn't matter how many, how much information, what friend or relative also has the same child. It could be same child, same year, same everything, same gender, everything. And it's still going to be different for you.
Of course.
And just the stuff that I've learned about myself in general with having James, the stuff that me and Kel learned about each other, and then obviously I'm learning from him. The stuff that he's teaching me is just now where he's having a very normal conversation. Like you can have a conversation with my son, and I'm at the point now where it's like it's hysterical. It's almost we just got Google Home, like the Google Home Mini or whatever. So you have like the Hey Google, and you ask like a random question. Yeah, it's literally what I do with James, just because I'm fascinated with what he's gonna say. I'm like, I don't know what this kid's gonna say, because some of the stuff that he comes up with, I'm sure anyone who has a kid can attest to this. Some of the stuff that they come up with, you're like, I know 100% that did not come from me. And it's not that it's good or bad. Some of the stuff is hilarious, but I'm like, I know I don't say stuff like that. Yeah. So just on the car ride home today, it was just like, and it was only a 10-minute car ride. I was literally had tears coming down my face, laughing so hard at this kid's conversation. It was his first day back at school in like 2 months, and he's explaining that he was frustrated because the kids weren't picking up the toys when they're done playing with them. Meanwhile, that's what we drilled in him. That was his experience at home because he got a new toy room, and we tell him if you're not playing with it, put it back in the bins or whatever. Just because there's toys all over the place, someone's gonna bust an ankle or whatever. Because I have, and so I'm always saying that. I'm always preaching to him like, James, if you're not playing with the toy, I don't care that you have your toys out if you're playing with them. Yeah, it can be all over the place if you're playing with them. But if you're over there in the corner watching TV and then there's toys all over the place, that's why I say, can you please, So that was this was a grown man conversation on the way home. He's like, it was very frustrating, Dad. You know what I mean? It's just like, and this is, he's 3. Well, he'll be 4 tomorrow, but in 3 hours, whatever. It's hysterical. So yeah, it's beyond my expectations. I could have never formulated this in my head. Yeah. The experience that you have, it's priceless. All right, so there you have it, folks. We like to end our podcast with quotes, and the first one is by Josh Billings. To bring up a child in the way he should go, travel that way yourself once in a while. Interesting.
That's awesome.
There's one by Anonymous that I threw in there. Anything which parents have not learned from experience, they now can learn from their children. I like that one. And the last one by Wilhelm Busch. To become a father is not hard. To be a father is, however. That's powerful.
Yeah.
So there you have it, folks. A boy or girl. In this episode, the crew talks about their experience as a dad. We cover topics that range from baby names, gender reveals, doctor appointments, pregnant spouses, and much more. We wrap the episode up with quotes by Wilhelm Busch and Josh Billings. Awesome. Guys, thanks again for joining us. The Rotated Views podcast was produced for self-development purposes. Huge shout out to our sponsors. This episode is brought to you by the Blessed Lifestyle brand. That is BL3SSED.com. Also sponsored by The Motivation Files Unleashed. This motivational mixtape will be your fuel for success. Available on all platforms. Guys, don't forget to visit the website, JimmyLeeVelez.com. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Rotated Views. If you have any inquiries or questions, email us at info@JimmyLeeVelez.com. On behalf of myself and the rest of the crew, we wish you massive success. Stay blessed.